How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry, Episode 3. It seems as if the family, plus Dr. Nanjo, because that's all that's really left here, have decided to take refuge over in the guest house, which, I think I said this last time, probably the smartest decision that they've had here. You know, let's get away from the big, spooky, very full of hidden areas and many mysteries type of area, and let's go to somewhere a little bit more confined, a little bit easier to manage in how many spaces there are. We can keep an eye on each other, more believable alibis, this and that. I think a really good idea overall. And I know Battler is talking with, I've already forgotten her name, Virgilia, I believe. Basically, the OG Beatrice. So he is working with somebody that, it's all a contradiction. He's working with somebody from the magical side to try and prove that there is a sense of realism behind everything. Mostly, they are just trying to debunk a little bit of what Beatrice is throwing around. And we got thrown a wild one in the last one because I think that was the looped or chained together closed room scenario. That was a lot of fun. When being besieged, your true enemy isn't so much the fear of an unseen culprit as it is keeping such fears alive for long periods of time. Maria got bored and started complaining that she wanted to watch TV. There was no TV in the lobby, so she decided to return to the cousin's room on the second floor. The adults probably wanted to make sure Maria wasn't left on her own. They told all the children to go to the second floor cousin's room. Again, we're being pretty smart here. George, who was grief-stricken by the loss of his fiancée, led the cousins up to the second floor without any resistance. At first, Nanjo had been reading a book in the lobby, but when he noticed the relatives looking like they wanted to discuss something sinister, he said, "It seems I am in the way," and returned to his room on the second floor. I don't like that. I don't really like that. Like, he probably should have went with the, I guess, with the children, the younger ones, basically. Have all the parents, the adults, basically, be here, ready to discuss their sinister plot or whatever it is. I guess there's really no plot at all left to, get the inheritance, to be on top of the family here or whatever. It's basically just staying alive, figuring out the epitaph at this point. Oh yeah, these guys have definitely been awake for more than 24 hours at this point.
きっちり24時間をここで籠城することになるだろう。無理をせず交代で仮眠する方が賢明かもしれんね。
そうですね。私と主人がここにおりますので、辛い方は無理せずお休みになってください。
相手はそれを期待してるかもしれないわよ。この人数では崩せなくても。
ここには7人いるわ。2人ずつ交代で3時間くらい休むとか。明日の朝は遠いわよ。今はまだ体力があるからいいけど、今夜は辛そうね。
Honestly, yeah, while there is daylight, easier to manage everything, people really should be getting some rest where they can. I know it's easier said than done, especially with what's going on. That probably has, thrown a little bit of energy towards people. Like, they're a little bit more awake than they should be. But yeah, get some rest, because after another 12 hours of trying to stay awake, trying to stay vigilant, you're gonna be struggling. Hideyoshi looked around at everyone to see who wanted to sleep first, but no one volunteered. Everyone was just as tired, but no one was bold enough to go to sleep right away. Their fear of the unknown culprit was just as strong as their sleepiness. Which honestly, again, makes sense. You can't really blame anybody for not wanting to immediately go to sleep. The energy is there, probably keeping people awake, but also that fear is keeping people awake. You know how difficult it is to try and sleep with anxiety or a sense of nervousness? There you go.
今はそういう気分じゃないの。
As Ava spoke sharply, she reread the second letter from Beatrice, which had been found in the boiler room. Beatrice had sent them 2 letters which had repeatedly told them to solve the riddle of the epitaph. Again, she is being as straightforward as possible this time around. And she even provoked them by saying that she would give up her assets and the headship if they could solve it. Everything that they wanted. Ava took out a notebook and opened it to a page with the epitaph copied onto it.
例の碑文ですか？
ええ、犯人の言いなりになるのは尺だけど、どうせ時間は腐るほどあるわ。退屈しのぎにはちょうどいいと思って。
悪くない時間潰しだ。兄弟で仲良く挑戦してみようじゃないか。
Honestly, yeah, do it.
借りてもいいかしら。もう少し大きく書き直すわ。夏日さん、もう少し大きな紙はないですか？
使用人室に紙くらいあるでしょ。取ってきます。
Natsuhi immediately brought a blank B4 sheet of paper from the servant room. Very specific. Kirie borrowed Ava's notebook, wrote out the epitaph on the paper, and laid it out on the table. Then everyone quickly peered down at it. They automatically formed a crowd.
話には聞いとったが、こら難儀な謎やな。何を言っとるのかさっぱりや。
You and me both, brother.
私も一時頑張って挑戦したんだけれど、同じくさっぱりだったわ。
I think I've said this before, but I feel like there's just a missing component to it all. That, or we're looking into it a little bit too deeply and it's something that's really outside the box. Something like that. But also in a way where you probably, like as the reader, you probably can't really solve it and you're not supposed to try and solve it. I think even people have told me in the comments, can't really solve it yet because the information isn't necessarily there. It's probably put into a state of unsolvability on purpose. That or I'm fucking stupid and you actually can solve it.
何しろ10トンの黄金だからね。
真面目に読むのは初めてなんだけど、大雑把に言って3部分に分かれてるのかしら。
昨夜から思っているが、キリエさんはだいぶ頭が
Fuck yeah, she is. Honestly, she's probably the most logically, like, sound person out of everybody on this island.
ひょっとすると私らでは解けなかった
Even
謎を
outdoing
いと
Nanjo.
も簡単に解いてしまうかもしれんね。
ああ、キリエは鋭いぜ。変な先入観を与えない方が面白い捉え方をできるかもしれないな。
そうね。キリエさん、率直にこの碑文を読んだ感想を聞かせてくれないかしら。
多分皆さんのお役には立てないと思うわ。みんな買いかぶりすぎよ。
The thing is that spinning the chessboard around might actually help.
いやいや、
I don't know if we've ever done that with the epitaph.
お前の話を聞かせてくれ。
Worth a shot though, right? That's what she does
だっ
best.
てお前のヒントが助けてくれたんだからな。
But I think as, I don't know if it was Battler or somebody else. I think it was Battler. As he pointed out in episode 2, I think, or maybe episode 1, you can spin the chessboard around all you want, but if the opponent is somebody that you just cannot understand fully, then you're not going to understand their perspective whatsoever.
あら、役に立ってた
You may
ね。
think you do, but that's just wishful thinking.
今更だけど嬉しいわ。
よせやい。いつも感謝してるぜ。
仲がいいのね。
Damn, it's as if they're married or something.
羨ましいわ。
You should
ぜ
be.
ひ私たちにもヒントを授けてほしいわ。いいの
Sorry,
よ。
that was actually really fucking
どう
rude
せ
of me,
時
by
間
the way. I'm
潰し
sorry.
なんだからリラックスして。
I mean, it's kind of true. We're all thinking the same thing, I'm sure, but whatever. Kirie was disturbed at being praised so highly for something so strange, but they had all the time in the world. Realizing that this was just a way to waste time, she decided to accept the role that she had been given. I mean,
と
I think
見当違いな
she's
こと言っちゃうと
most
思
worthy.
うけど。じゃあ私の考えで進めてみるわね。
最初に言った大雑把に言って3部分に分かれるとはどういう意味かね。
Actually, you know what? It has been a while. I want to go back and I want to read that. If you guys don't want to, listen to me read this shit again, go ahead and skip forward a couple of minutes. Not super long. Yeah, 2 minutes should be good. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the Golden Land. The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices, which we've already gone through. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. On the fourth twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the fifth twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the sixth twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the seventh twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the eighth twilight, gouge the leg and kill. On the ninth twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. On the 10th twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold from the Golden Land. One shall be the resurrection of all the dead souls. One shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost. One shall be to put the witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch, Beatrice. So, reading this again, actually, I think this is the first time I've read it in full since probably somewhere in episode 2 before like a recording session or something. I don't remember. But the first section, okay, so they were talking about dividing it up into 3 parts. The first section definitely stands out. It's definitely more like a riddle, right? And they tried to, take a crack at it in the very beginning of episode 1, I'm pretty sure. So if we skip all of that, we definitely get into, well, even then, Golden Land. We've heard about the Golden Land a few times as we've gone through here. So that's no longer that mysterious. I guess it is pretty mysterious, but it's not the most mysterious thing here. We've heard about it in reference to the witch. But then we get to the sacrifices. And then we get to what awaits you if you do everything correctly. The thing I find strange is that these things are supposed to be done by the person that's trying to solve the riddle, right? Well, these actions are occurring by the witch. What does that necessarily mean? Is this a race? We have to figure out the first part while the second part is going on, and if you win, then the third part is unlocked, kind of, maybe? I mean, we haven't seen the rewards before. That's something that hasn't come up. The first part is the big riddle. That's the puzzle. That's the mystery. The second part is kind of what's been happening to people. I guess that's it kind of playing out. The third part are the rewards. We've heard that, yes, you will get all the gold. Maybe not necessarily the Golden Land, but Beatrice has said that you get headship and the inheritance. You get all the money that has been loaned from her to Kinzo. Resurrection of all the dead souls, we haven't heard of that one. As well as the resurrection of the loved one, or of the love that was lost. Wait a minute, actually, hold on. Of the love that was lost. What does that mean? Now that we have a little bit more of an idea, we've heard of love play a little bit of a part in episode 2. That's an interesting one. And then the fourth reward is goodbye, Beatrice. Okay, so now that we've read it, or now that I've read it yet again, God damn it.
そのままの意味よ。碑文はだいたい
Well, at least we've got it here in front of us yet again.
できると思うの。まず最初のそこに黄金の鍵が眠るまでの5行。ここまでが鍵のありかを示した最初の部分。そして第10の番までの11行が黄金鏡そのものの場所を示した部分。そして残りの6行は黄金鏡にたどり着いてからの部分ね。
Yeah, I think I've divided it up pretty well myself, just in my own wacky way. Yeah, I guess we could have read it here too. My bad.
そうですね。鍵と黄金鏡。そして黄金鏡の宝の話の3つ。
その程度なら我々だって把握しているさ。鍵と扉、そして 宝を示す3つの区分だ。
兄さん余計な口を挟まないで。キリエさんに自由な発想で発言してもらうのよ。
Yeah, she's in charge here.
続けてくれ。俺たちもそれについては同じ認識だ。それで
最初に出てくる懐かしき故郷というのはどういう意味なのかしら。
The thing is that Kinzo definitely has a really weird way of referring to things. So, his beloved hometown. We don't really know much about his past other than how he kind of like was forced into the position of, where he is now and was actually able to save the family. So, things kind of worked out in that regard. But beyond that, we don't know too much. And do we really want to think about that literally?
普通に考えたらお父様の故郷を指すのかしら。懐かしきとわざわざ断るところを見ると、とても思い入れのある故郷のように思えるわね。お父さんは小田原の出身だったかしら？
I feel like whatever it is, whether it's like we're literally talking about a location or not, I think Beatrice has to have some sort of connection.
生まれは確かに小田原だけど、
He would not use the term beloved otherwise. He hates
多分
everything
小田原
else.
のことじゃないわ。それについては多分兄弟たちは全員同じ場所で認識してるわね。
そうね。多分小田原じゃないわね。聞いた話ではとても楽しい少年時代だったそうよ。
親父の人生で最大の不幸は多分後宮家の当主にさせられたことだろうよ。
おそらくな。親父殿は後宮家の当主になど。
それはどこなのかしら。そしてそこに鮎の泳ぐ川は？
当時はあったんじゃないかしら。
Okay, again, do we really want to think of sweetfish as a literal term? Do we actually want to consider that he's actually talking about fish at all?
今はだいぶ開発が進んだでしょうから、鮎はいなくなってるかもしれない。お父様が少年時代の当時に鮎がいたと。
川も一本ではないだろう。地理的な意味では我々もそれぞれにかなり調べたつもりだ。エヴァに至っては現地まで直接調べに行ったんじゃないかね。
あくまでも旅行としてよ。でも街並みは当時と完全に変わってる。何しろ戦争を挟んでるのよ。お父様がどこに住んでいたのかさえ正確な場所の把握は不可能よ。
Also, if it has to do with his youth, a child's imagination can kind of play a part in describing how things are.
多分お父様が自ら現地へ足を運んでも今となってはどこに住んでいたか特定できないでしょうね。
あちらさんも随分目覚ましく復興したって話だからな。
鮎の川と言われてはっきりとした地名は出ないの？
そりゃな。何しろ鮎だぜ。水がきれいな川に住むってんだから、それこそ心当たりの川は無数だったろうさ。親父が無邪気に鮎釣りをした小川もその後の開発で埋められたりもしただろう。戦前の地図、もしくは戦前の現地に詳しい人でもいりゃ話は別だが。
多分そういう話ではないわ。
Yeah,
どういうことだね。
go on.
懐かしき故郷を貫く鮎の川、黄金鏡を目指す者よ。これを下りて鍵を探せ。ここまでの2行で一度開業してるのよね。この2行だけで何かの提示が成立するのよ。その何かに基づいて次の3行が続くんじゃないかしら。
何かの提示って何やろな。
わからないわ。とにかくその2行だけでどの川かわからないとか、はっきりとこの川という特定ができるのよ。
Again, it may not necessarily be a river. A lot of these terms that are being used could probably be like, they're probably here to confuse you. You don't want to think about these things literally, I'm sure. Either we're missing context, or there's something a little bit more to the language that's being used here.
ひょっとすると水の流れる川ではないかもしれないわね。鮎の川は何かの比喩
Yeah, there
か
we
もし
go.
れない。
There we go.
鮎という言葉にはどんなイメージがあるのかしら。
鮎は鮭みたいなもんや。淡水魚だが生まれてすぐは海に出るんや。
I think we should move away
そ
from
し
the
て
fish.
大きくなると川に戻ってきて生活し、そこに産卵して生涯を終えるんや。まあ一度は家を出るが、大きくなって戻ってきて卵を産むってなあたりは一族繁栄的なイメージがあるかもしれんな。
へえ、淡水魚なのに海水でも生きられるのかよ。知らなかったぜ。川魚だから海には出られないと思ってたぜ。
鮎は香りが良いことから香魚とも呼ばれるとか。私は食べたことがありませんが、塩焼きにするととても美味しいそうですよ。
Okay, maybe we can take a little bit of like the characteristics of, you know, the language that is being used here to maybe connect it with something different.
なんや夏日さん、鮎の塩焼き食ったことあらへんのか。うまいで。今度ごちそうしたるわ。
庶民の料理だ。君の口にはふさわしくない。
Oh, come on now.
これは私の妄想なんだけど。
No, I mean, any idea might work here. I don't think any idea is necessarily wild.
実は私、鮎の皮のイメージから家系図を疑ったことがあるの。
Okay.
鮎は一度海へ出るけど、また生まれた川に帰ってきて産卵するんでしょ。まるで私のことみたいだなって思って。
そうね。今だから白状するけど、私もあなたとマリアちゃんのことを指してるんじゃないかって疑ったことがあるわ。
なるほど。川を下ればやがて里あり。家系図を下ってくと見つかる里はマリアの名に含まれる里の字だけだ。
でしょ。でもみんなも知っての通り、お父様はマリアのこと
Oh,
を切
very
り出
much
して
so.
て、
He doesn't like any of the
ほとん
grandchildren.
ど言葉を交わしたこともない。それにお父様はかつてマリアに全然違う名前をつけるように言っていたの。それを私が勝手にマリアにした。お父様はそれをとても怒っていたわ。
That is actually pretty interesting.
その経緯を考えると、
That's very good
財産
information.
の家督を引き継ごうという大切な碑文にマリアの名を引用するとはとても思えなくて。
マリアちゃんに碑文を読ませたことは？
ええ、もちろんあるわ。
I mean, even if she wasn't given permission, she's gonna go and read that
で
shit.
もさっぱりみたいだった。魔女の復活の儀式みたいな相変わらずのオカルト話ばかりでさっぱりだったわ。
Haha, well,
親父殿とマリアの接点。確かに両者にオカルト趣味はあるが全く交流はなかった。私もマリアのことを指しているとは思えんね。
懐かしきとわざわざ冒頭につけているのが私は気になるわ。
again, beloved is like a very, you know, interesting term for Kinzo of all people to utilize because, I mean, there's not a whole lot of things that he does hold dear, right? So what is something that would be so great in his life to be described with that word?
さっきみんなが言っていたように、お父さんにとって後宮家の当主となることが不本意だったとしたなら、それを懐かしんだりするかしら。それは後宮本家を指す小田原ではないと思うの。私にはこの懐かしきという冒頭の一語がお父様にとってとても大切な思い出深い場所を示しているに違いないと信じているんだけれど。
まあいいさ。当時の地図もさっぱりだから特定は困難だが。
You know, it's... I don't know. I want to say that maybe, just maybe, this island, not in general, but maybe somewhere on this island specifically is where he could be referring to. That hidden mansion seems to have a lot of history to it.
とにかく
Could that maybe have a connection to things here, maybe?
鮎が泳げる川は何本かあったろうさ。
水の流れる川ならね。それから続けてよ、キリエさん。
川を下ればやがて里ありからの産業はちょっとよくわからないわ。これは多分鮎の川の2行に連結してる。鮎の川の正体がわかれば多分自然と意味がつながるものなのよ。それがわからない限り この産業を先に解こうとしても無駄でしょうね。
Yeah, I mean, it's like a branch, right? It's like a tree branching off with its limbs. It can go in so many different ways unless you know the right direction. That was probably the worst fucking way to describe that, but you guys know what I mean. We don't want to just mindlessly go forward. We need to figure out what's going on at the start. Is it an actual village? Did he mean something different? Yeah, is there an actual literal river that he's referring to? What about the sweet fish?
親父の好物か？それとも何か特別な意味があるのか？深読みしても仕方ねえのか？
ミクロとマクロの2つの視点を持たないと視野が狭まるわね。深く考えすぎないで。魚が泳いでいる川、あるいは流れ、下るもの、登るもの。そのくらいの抽象的なイメージにしておいた方が発想が柔軟になっていいかもしれないわ。
そして鮎の川の答えが続く産業を経て黄金鏡の鍵にたどり着く。
Yeah, I think here we begin to make a bit of a transition, actually. Because the Golden Land is, that's a name that's utilized a lot by Beatrice. That is beginning to merge on over to the magical side of things.
こうして考える
The
と
witch
3つ
type
の区
shit.
分というのは間違いかしら。正確には4つの区分ね。鮎の川を下り、黄金鏡の鍵を見つけ、黄金鏡へ旅立つ、そして黄金鏡の宝。
せっかくだ。続けて碑文の最も中心的な部分である黄金鏡にたどり着く第10の番までの見解を聞かせてくれんかね。
この碑文の中で最も象徴的で、
生贄なんて単語が連発するから、
Oh, yeah.
ついついお父様のオカルト儀式と関係があるんじゃないかと思ってしまうけど、キリエさんならどう見るかしら。
Hey, let's piece together that the first Twilight already happened. Kirie recrossed her arms several times, peering into the paper with the epitaph copied onto it as though she was looking through it.
これはとても難しいわね。鍵を手にせし者はから始まるということは多分鍵を理解していないと話が進まない。お手上げではあるけれど一応挑戦してみるわね。
You know, another way to look at it is that, let's say Beatrice holds the key right now, and that's why she's already at this part.
鮎の川が水の流れる川とは限らないように、
She's trying to get to the Golden Land herself.
その鍵もまた本当に鍵の形状をしたものなのか疑わしいわね。
そうね。暗号とかキーワードの可能性もあるわ。だってこの鍵は鍵穴に刺すものじゃない。第1の番に6人の生贄を選ぶためにあるんだもの。その意味においてはこの鍵は黄金鏡の扉を開くものじゃないと言い切れるわね。
Actually, you know what? Hold on. It's not necessarily Beatrice who actually has the key. Let's not think about it in a way of, the magical side. Beatrice doesn't actually exist, right? There's somebody else here. Supposedly, there's probably culprits among the family members, or there's another group of people here. Who's to say? I know, fuck the red text. But what if the first part of the epitaph has already been solved? They have the key that's necessary in order to perform the second part of this riddle. Let's say it's not necessarily a parallel sort of race type thing going on here. What if somebody has already figured out the first part? Now they have to do the sacrifices. They need to kill people. What if that's the situation?
しかし物騒な鍵です。
Which kind of goes back to what I was thinking in the very beginning of the story, I
6
want to
人もの
say.
生贄を選ぶ鍵なんて
It's very occult-like.
鍵がどうやって選ぶんや。ルーレットみたいにくるくる回すんかいな。
Hey, he said the thing.
この鍵がある特定の6人を指し示す。いいえ、ある特定の6つを指し示すというべきね。もしこれが文字通りに生贄を捧げろという意味でないならば、例えばアナグラムかもしれないわ。
アナグラム？文字遊びのことかね。
ええ、さっきローザさんが家系図の話でマリアちゃんの名前に里が含まれてという話をしていた時から ずっと考えてるの。例えばルドルフさんは懐かしき故郷という単語からずっと地形的座標的なものを想定しているようだけど、そうじゃないかもしれない。これはある種の謎々、あるいは文字遊びかもしれないって。
ごめんなさい。文字遊びとは何ですか？
You move them around and you make new words and shit.
カモメカモメカチンカチンみたいなやつさ。
Say what?
カを抜いたらなにみたいな。夏日さんは育ちがいいから知らねえだろ。
Wait, hold on. You take out the E's and the R's. Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. Yeah, okay, I kind of see it.
かを抜くと？
Wait a fucking minute. I think one of my friends actually fucking sent me this shit today on Twitter. Did somebody post this on Twitter recently? Ah, whatever.
よしなさい。君にはふさわしくない品のない遊びだ。
I mean, it kind of fits Rudolph. Only Natsuhi didn't get it and had a blank look on her face. It seems she'd only guessed that the answer had to be something undignified. Going by Rudolph and Ava's sniggers.
夏日姉さん、こういうことです。マリアの謎々ブックにあったんですけどね。タヌキの手紙っていうのがあるんです。他の文字がいっぱい混じった暗号みたいな手紙があるんだけど、他の文字を抜くとそこに正しい文章が浮かび上がる、そんな遊びがあるんですよ。
Yeah. Move letters around, you know, remove them, do whatever. In a way, it is just a, you know, a stupid ass game. The thing is that it becomes a little bit complicated here because this is a, you know, a game that was originally in Japanese, moved over to English. Trying to replicate how, you know, letters are moved around, or I guess in this case, maybe characters, is going to be a little bit difficult in the, you know, transition over to English. They're going to have to change how the game is played. I think the first time I saw that in like anything in the anime sort of area was probably with Bleach in like the first arc. If you guys have watched Bleach, you probably know what I'm talking about. I don't know how that was necessarily done in Japanese. It had to have been different, right? Natsuhi finally realized the answer to the undignified riddle Rudolph had posed, and her face grew red as she hung her head in embarrassment.
その抜くというのが案外殺すというのに転じるかもね。
ええ、私もそれを思ったところなの。黄金鏡の鍵とはひょっとすると6文字の単語かもしれない。
Oh, that's actually an interesting thought.
つまりタヌキの手紙の「タ」が6文字あるっちゅうわけか。これはややこしいこっちゃな。
You can say that again, Hideyoshi.
文字遊びか。日本では子供の遊びという印象が強いが、特に英語圏では知識人のこじゃれたユーモア。
No, it's fucking horrible in English too. I mean, yeah, there's like some shits and giggles to get out of it, I suppose, but like whenever you go to this extreme, it's really
親父
annoying.
殿が関心を示すことは十分に考えられるね。
But I will give Kraus some credit here. I
こ
mean,
こで急にわからなくなるの。
with Kinzo being, you know, a big fan of Western styles and such, that does kind of point towards English, doesn't it?
ここまでの流れは謎に満ちていながらも非常に順番的だった。鮎の皮、それを下れ、そして鍵を見つけろと非常に順番的。そしてその結果、6文字の鍵を手に入れたと仮定するんだけど、そうすると何から6文字を殺すのかわからなくなるの。
そういやそうだな。6文字を何から引くんだ。その提示がないな。
第2の番に残されし者はとある。ということは、少なくともその何かは有限の文字数なのよ。
Yeah. I mean, we've always thought, okay, there's 18, right?
そこから6文字を抜い
But
て
episode
残った
2 kind
文
of
字で
lies about
話を
that.
進めろと読み解けるわ。なのに、最初に提示があるべき何かがわからないの。やっぱり文字遊びという過程が間違っているのかしら。
I mean, it's an interesting thought that even I never really considered. Because of what's been happening, I mean, I've always thought, oh, it does mean killing off people. Everyone crossed their arms and fell silent. It felt like they were about to reach a novel understanding that they hadn't managed before, but they stumbled just one step short. Which is such a pain in the ass. Then Hideyoshi's stomach rumbled heartily, and that silence was broken by laughter.
すまんすまん。珍しく普段使わん頭を回したもんですっかり空腹になってしもた。やはり朝食抜きは答えるわ。なあ。
夏日、ここには何かないのかね。
軽食の備え程度があったはずです。用意しますね。
俺も腹ペコだ。上のガキどもも腹ペコだろうよ。しかし18人分も、そして3食もここに備蓄があるのかはちょいと疑問だね。
Yeah, I wonder if they really should have, like, you know, stocked up on some stuff before heading on over.
そうやな。明日まで長丁場や。一度屋敷に戻って厨房で缶詰の類でも漁った方がええかもしれんな。
Better make it a really big ass group.
クラッカーとおつまみくらいしかありませんが、それでよければ準備できます。でもこの人数ではお昼の分も残らないかも。
今はそれでいい。すまんが準備してくれんかね。
What a rough situation. Honestly, I do like this this living room area here. It is actually really nice. I did not know that the guest house actually had all of this, and it really does, you know, put a little bit more into perspective. It looked like the men had been taken over with an appetite that stopped all thought. The atmosphere grew more peaceful, and the Epitaph investigation team split up for the time being. But Ava kept staring at the paper the Epitaph was written on like she was going to burn a hole through it.
文字遊びはあくまでも私の仮説。それが間違ってる可能性もあるわ。エヴァさん、あまり根詰めないで。
ありがとう。私の勝手でやってるの。放っといてくれないかしら。
Ava spoke coldly. I mean, we understand, right? We all understand that Ava actually does have a personal mission to figure this shit out. She knows what's at stake. Kirie didn't bother her anymore, and instead went to help Natsuhi prepare breakfast.
姉さん、私たちも朝食の準備手伝った方がよくない？
じゃああんたが手伝いなさいよ。私はこれを解くので忙しいの。
ごめんなさい。じゃあ私。
まったく、なんであなたはそんななの？この碑文を解いた人間が後宮家の家督を譲られるのよ。あなたは関係ないと初めから諦めているようだけど。
I mean, shit, she just wants to survive.
もしも解ければ、ローザにだって家督を引き継げるチャンスがある。あの兄さんから全てを奪うチャンスなのよ。どうしてその千載一遇のチャンスをあなたは真剣になって挑めないの？
それは。
Rosa hung her head, unsure of how she should answer. Too late, she regretted carelessly speaking to her sister when she was in a bad mood.
あんたも何か気づいたことがあるんなら言いなさいよ。私やキリエさんは真剣に推理してたのに、あんたは相槌ばかりだったじゃない。ほら、何か気づいた点はないの？ほら。
これ不思議よね。
All of it is strange. What the fuck you talking about?
何が？
黄金鏡っていう単語よ。
Oh yeah. You know, the name Golden Land is definitely going to be a little bit of a weird one that they're not really going to understand what all that means other than maybe the finish line. But this is definitely a name that's been brought up multiple times on the magic
何
side.
度も出てくるわよね。
それが何よ。黄金鏡を文字分解すると何かキーワードにでもなるの？
そうじゃなくて、ほら、この第10の番だけおかしいでしょ。
The home of the
みんな
gold?
黄金鏡なのに、なぜかここだけ黄金の里なの。
Are we sure we're not trying to look too deep into that and that it's like just a fancy way of saying it? But yeah, I mean, that is fair. Why is that the only time that a different naming scheme is used for this location?
わざわざのが
For this
一文字混じるのよね。どうしてここだけ言い方が違うのか漠然と気になってて。
Okay, so there's a little bit more to it. There's a change here on the Japanese side, but yeah, there is literally a character thrown into it that actually kind of gives it a different name in a way. It kind of reworks it. So what is it? Ongonkyo and then Ogon no Sato. Okay, so it actually completely changes like the second half of it. By the way, sorry for the, shit pronunciation. It's just I wanted to get that in my fucking head.
お父様のことだもの。ちょっとした言葉のあやでたまたま言い方を変えただけかもしれないしね。
No, that might actually be something. Or not. I don't know. Anything could be something big here. Alright, what's up? We're back in the fucking purple realm.
つまらん。
And I know, they're not arguing.
おや、何がつまらないのですか？
つまらんつまらん。
はてさて、この子が何をぼやいているのかさっぱりですよ。
おそらくマダムがバトラ様にいろいろと入れ知恵をしたのが不満なのでしょう。
別にそんなの不満ではないぞ。不甲斐ないバトラがようやくわらわに釣り合うレベルになったので、むしろ満足してるくらいだぞ。
And yet here she is.
少しバトラ君と仲良くしすぎましたか。若い子同士に任せて老人は退散した方がいいのかしら。
When Virgilia and Renove giggled and cackled, Beatrice's irritation meter finally reached its limit.
揃いも揃ってわらは笑い物にしよって。ロノウェ、しばし姿を消せ。消えろ消えろ。
かしこまりました。それではしばしのお暇をいただきます。
And yet he'll still fucking laugh, even so he's not here anymore. Renove bowed his head, still laughing, and vanished. After that, all that remained was the grumpy and irritated figure of Beatrice. And Virgilia, who was coolly enjoying her tea, because she's just here
こ
now.
の島に19人以上いないと言ったあの赤がむしろあなたを追い詰めました。
やっぱりな。
Well, yeah, I mean, there was the devil's proof and the whatever raven going on for a while. That actually stopped Battler. But, I don't know, I think he, like, circled back around on it in a way, and that kind of, like, stumped Beatrice, but then she came out with a final answer.
ちょっと早いかなと思ったんだが。
In a way, she could have allowed him to just keep on assuming that there was a whole bunch of people, leading him in a completely different direction. But now, he's right back on track.
やっぱ早かったかな。
That is another way of looking at it. It wasn't necessarily such a loss, but it was a loss in the front of Battler really not wanting to suspect any of the 18.
彼をもっと迷走させてからならともかく。
The only thing I can think of now is that one of the 18 is not who we think they are. Have I actually ever had that as a prediction? What if one of the 18 people, in the sense of like a realistic story, fuck the magic and everything, is not who they say they are? Not necessarily somebody in disguise pretending to be somebody that we've, thought we knew, but no, it's just somebody that is not who we have always believed them to be. It's just somebody, like, completely different. I have no other way of describing it other than it is, yes, that person, but they have like a huge hidden, vendetta, and they actually don't live the life that we thought that they actually did. Maybe they actually have a secret name. I don't know. That is another way of thinking that, yes, the culprit is one of the 18. There's only 18 people on the island, but, that's where that but can fit in. In addition to denying the witch, Battler had possessed a second victory condition, one of explaining any or everything without suspecting one of the 18. And then there is also the situation where, like, yeah, I mean, natural death, accidental death, not necessarily homicide at play here, maybe, but most definitely, probably, I don't know. I don't know. Could you constitute poisoning somebody as murder? Oh, yeah, you'd have to. Anyways, it was at that point where when he'd been tossed about by two opposing goals that his heart should have been at its weakest. However, Beatrice had used the red carelessly, proclaiming that there were no more than 18 people. Because of that, Battler had been forced to suspect one of the 18, and he had finally begun to build up the resolve he needed to accept that. The thing is that, yeah, he'll move on. Like, you have to. You gotta figure out the mystery somehow. But he was also given a huge hint to narrow it down. Battler was stubborn. But that was exactly why fissures would run all through him, like breaking china when he was struck in a fragile spot. That itself should have been his greatest weak point, but...
前回圧勝だったんで、ちょいと油断が過ぎたかな。
A little bit. The thing is, she wanted to torment him. That's the thing. She's pushing a little bit more in the wrong direction. She's getting cocky.
前回はバトラ君にとって難易度の高いゲームでしたが、どうやら今回はあなたにとって難易度の高いゲームになりそうですよ。
割れた壺は決して元に戻ることはない。未練がましくかけらを拾うより、他の手を考えた方が建設的というもの。しかし、すっかり知恵をつけたバトラにどう仕掛ければよいというのか。
炉の上のクッキーよりあなたが困っている顔の方がお茶菓子にぴったりですよ。
God damn.
バトラもお師匠様もどの上までもわらわお茶化扱いだ。
It's crazy. Beatrice literally shifts from acting all cute to acting like a fucking freak at times.
決して甘くはないというのに。
With a shameful childlike face that she would never have shown in front of Battler, Beatrice rolled her head around on top of the table.
お師匠様、せめてヒントを。
おや、何のヒントですか？
バトラをギャフンと言わせて、わらわを認めたくなるようなうまい指し手を。ズバリ教えろとは言わないから、せめてヒントだけでも。
ダメですよ。私は今バトラ君の味方をしていますから。
Right now, you say.
あなたに利することは教えられません。
そんな固いこと言わずにさ、弟子が困ってるというのに。
師匠を超えたと散々豪語していた気がしますが。
She got you there.
年寄りらしく老快な知恵を一発授けてくれよ。頼むよ。バトラにばっかりずるいってよ。
もう相変わらずのだだっこですね。
You don't say.
でも確かにちょっとバトラ君にヒントを与えすぎたかもしれませんね。
Yeah, I mean, she definitely stepped up to the plate, but I don't know.
あなたのお給に
Is she gonna now like try to balance it back out by giving some hints to Beatrice on how to fucking, you know, level the playing field yet again?
少し肩入れをしすぎたかもしれない。
そうであろう、そうであろう。頼むよ、お師匠様。せめて今後のヒントだけでも。
ヒントだけですよ。意味は自分で考えるのですよ。
自分で考えるからさ、頼む
She
よ。
is such a fucking child at times. It's
バトラを
crazy.
ケチョンケチョンにできるやつを頼むよ、お師匠様。
Considering how she acted like a great and mighty witch in front of Battler, the way she acted when he wasn't around was truly pathetic. Vergilia sighed at how childish Beato was, or still was, despite all the time that had passed. I don't know, there's always going to be parts of, there's always going to be part, oh hey, I've heard this shit before. There's always going to be part of yourself that will never, ever change. You will always never grow out of a certain way, I'm sure. That's called personality. Anyways, we're going to call it here with this one. I would have wanted to record a little bit more, but your boy tired. But, oh man, this next one going to be good. I feel like it's going to be a good one. Especially with this music playing. Oh man, shit's got to go down, right? God damn, Higurashi got me fucked up. I'm actually watching, I just watched Go and I'm watching Sotsu right now, so Yeah, Higurashi got me fucked up. Anyways, yeah, this was a good one. You know, it's nice to see that the parents are actually working together a lot better in this episode, that they're actually going down the path that I really wanted them to go down, the path that made the most sense. Figure out the fucking epitaph and you win, you know? Like, it's been said a few times. Anyways, thank you all for watching this one. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy.